This video is specifically going to talk about how you guys can structure your admission file to submit to colleges. I mean, this is specifically probably applying to the schools that I get into, which you won't know until later. Hi, this is future me. For some reason, I forgot to talk about my application strategy, which is kind of important, you know, if y'all want to know how I got into Northwestern. But first, you need to categorize yourself into whether or not you're a spike applicant or you're a well-rounded applicant. Because from what I can tell and what I see is Northwestern really likes well-rounded applicants, which is what I am if you go watch my stats video. So if you are a spike student, or in this video I refer to it as being specialized. So if you are a spike student, this video helps you a lot. But if you're a well-rounded student, you need to take this video in a different light. So instead of focusing your general application, you need to try to make each individual activity specialized. I know, it sounds crazy. Your mind is blown. Anyways, I'll let you guys get back to the video. Let's just jump right into it. So you guys need to know that the people in the middle suffer the most. Whether it's financial aid-wise or whether it's activities-wise, you will suffer the most. So if you haven't watched my other videos, it's fine. I'm going to do a review here. There are 3 major categories that colleges want to see. The first one is your network, like how popular you are, if you're an internet celebrity, if your family is an internet celebrity, you know, you get the gist. The second one is your academics, and the third one is your extracurriculars. So these 3 factors, they measure you and they give you a ranking, a label, you know, like A+, A-, or A. I'm not sure if they use letters. They might use numbers, like 1+. I think they use numbers. Anyways, 1+ or 1 would be like if you get first in international science fair, or if you won gold medal at the Olympics. And also know that it's not just a school that's competitive, it's the subjects that's competitive. Sometimes the school themselves might be competitive, but if the subject that you're doing is not that competitive, you have a better chance of getting it. You see those percentiles on the website and people tell you, you know, blank school has a 3.2% chance of getting in. That's the average, but some people's percentiles might be higher than others. So for some people it might be 20 to 30%, which is still low. Let me just tell you, it's still very low. And the college Vine calculator does not really calculate this accurately. The next thing is for you to make sure to market yourself properly, because at the very beginning, unless you're paying very attention, you probably should rewrite your Common App activities once, twice, 3 times, because you're going to think of things that don't encompass the full picture yet, and include every single detail, okay? Include every single detail, leave out the bad ones. You have that ability to do that. Include every single detail of what you did inside the activity. Just write down all the nitty-gritty specifics, because that gives a whole picture of what you did in that activity. And note the word limit. At first, I just said, I'm a classical pianist, right? That's the first thing that you start with. So then I added another layer. So I played classical piano for 13 years. Why is that good? Because it shows that I'm consistent. It shows that I have consistency, which is good because it shows that you're going to pursue the subject in college because of that consistency. And after the 13-year classical pianist, I added a 3rd layer, which was I won 3rd in state. And after that, I could have just ended it there. I didn't have the right wording, so I put moderate expertise. It's not really an expertise, at least it's like a very cocky thing to say if you have an expertise, but I am very good at playing modern music, and a lot of judges in competitions I've been in, they've said the same thing. My teacher says the same thing. So that's kind of what I put, just to encompass me a little more, just to show what type of person I am. Again, I'm gonna repeat this as many times as it needs for you guys to do this. Make sure you specialize. Please specialize and pick a major that is not popular. Another example that might be more clear for STEM guys is my development of visually impaired prototypes, which let me pull up the actual comment. For that, I also did a lot of things, because I could have just initially put, I went to Intel ICEF and won an honorable mention, right? But I did not want to. That's like underselling myself, which is not good. You should not undersell yourself. You need to portray yourself in the best light, because every small detail matters. At least I think. I mean, there's no way for me to find other outcomes. From here, I put developer of visually impaired and blind technology as my position / leadership description. That kind of just gives an initial spark, right? It's like, that's weird. Not a lot of people do projects for visually impaired and blind. Versus if I say I was a researcher for Intel ICEF and I got honorable mention, that doesn't sound as attractive, because, or if I just put researcher, because some people might just put research in that initial leadership position title, or they could have put computer science computer science researcher. And think about what's better, computer science researcher or developer of vision impaired and blind technology. Both of them are true, but the second one is what makes you different. It's what makes you special. And it gives a better context of who you are to the admissions counselors. However, if you don't specialize, none of this matters. And I'm saying this many times because my decisions are out. I haven't made the video yet, but my decisions are out. So I can tell you that it matters a lot. So you guys know that I don't have a clear role of what I'm going to play. So I'm a deformed puzzle piece. So I don't have a definitive shape. I'm kind of loose in 2 to 3 areas, and I'm pretty mediocrely good at them. The reason why I brought that up again is because I don't have enough resources to really adequately pursue any one path. And if you find yourself in a similar situation, then I consider you apply to the schools that I got accepted to. If your resource is like a desert in the area that you're in the career you want to pursue, etc., don't sweat. You have several options. Either number 1, if you're brave enough to switch to a less popular subject, do that. Number 2, you have to get good at that subject. Otherwise, you might as well just stick to the first one and apply to the schools that I applied to, because you might have a chance of getting in. It seems like they accept people who are well-rounded. Oh, and this brings up a really good point that I haven't brought up yet, is that things have started to change. If you wanted to ask like a college advisor who worked in the early 20s, it's not going to work because college admissions has changed so rapidly, so much over time. Right now, it's not about making a well-rounded student. It's more about making a well-rounded class. Because when you have a well-rounded class, that means you have a lot of peaks in different subjects. And that means the students or the alumni that you have are going to be elite. And they're going to go out in the fields and get like Pulitzer prizes or like Olympic gold medals, you know? So sorry for that long introduction. You guys need to know the information. You guys need to be packed with this information and be able to analyze this for yourselves. But let's move on to essays and what you need to do in terms of those essays. So what I did was I made sure to show growth. That's what you need to show in your essays, in your academics, in everything, right? That's the most important thing, is if you can show you grow, that means when you're in college, it shows that you can grow in college as well. So for your essays, what you need to do is you need to try to have a comparison. And I read a lot of essays from like books that I've bought about essays, and I tried to make that growth apparent in my essays, which if you guys check out the essays video, that will also be out later. So I will link that in the description when it is out. Since this tip is for seniors, you guys will understand what I'm talking about, but use your past self as a foil for your current self. So I talked about study bubbly, the process of how that changed me and how I grew from that. But you guys are only here for this whole process of different informations on how the system works, how I think the system works. I will have a separate video because this video is turning out to be too long. I will have a separate video just talking about what schools you need to apply to and how to apply to those schools. I'm so sorry, Mike. So make sure you guys keep out an eye for that. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.